Ethan476 here, bringing you part 3 of my third ever tutorial on Kerbal Space Program. And in this episode we are going to be getting back from the moon, because if you've watched the last two parts of this third episode, you'll see that I've built the rocket to get to the moon, as well as the lander. I've gotten into orbit, start again, change my orbit to intercept with the moons, readjusted my orbit, slowed down to land on the moon, successfully landed and planted a flag. So if we go to the trafficking station, we can have a look at Moonlander, which is, here we are, moon landing. So let's go to Moonlander and fly. And here we are. This is our landing craft, which we landed in our previous episode, along with the flag that I planted on the ground. So now that we've basically done all what we wanted to do, we've had a play around, run around, whatever, we're ready to go home. Now, one thing we have to make sure of, that we have enough fuel. Obviously, if we didn't have enough fuel, there's nothing really we could do about it, but there's no point really trying to get back if you don't, because you might as well leave this here and then send another craft down to come and get Oberly Kerman back. So make sure we've got enough fuel. We've got full tanks here, well, pretty much full. It's pretty much full. So I'm happy that we have enough fuel in order to make it back. Make sure that our parachutes are still here, because even though we're on a moon and we never used a parachute, say if you're landing on Duna or something like that, you'd use your parachutes to land, and then literally I think about nearly half the times that I've gone back to Duna, I've started re-entering Kerbin's atmosphere and realised that I forgot to repack the parachutes. It's just like, it's one of those really awkward moments that you spent like 4 hours on this mission and then you got to do it all over again. It's such a nightmare. But anyway, so yes, obviously we don't really need the parachute for this, but it's always a good habit to get into, just to check the parachutes on. We've got the Kerbal in this craft, so we're ready to go. Now, if we go outside here, we need to see that that Kerbal is actually inside the orbit of the moon. So we're going to actually have to burn outwards. So if we burn outwards, because we're going to take off and we're going to do exactly what we did with the moon. With Kerbal orbit, but we're going to do it straight off the bat. So we're going to take off. As soon as we take off, we're going to hit 45-degree orbit. And then once we hit about 15, once our apoapsis hits about 15,000, 15,000 meters, we're then going to go into a completely horizontal burn and then completely circularize the orbit. Because the moon has no atmosphere, you can orbit it at any height you want. So we want to use the least fuel possible but get into an orbit. So 15,000 is a safe bet, because we won't hit any mountains on the way around. So yes, we're going to want to burn outwards this way, and you'll actually see if we burn outwards this way, we will come out here and then we'll start losing the moon's gravitational pull, and then we'll actually end up coming inside the orbit. Whereas if we were to burn here, we'd burn out and then we'd actually, hang on, I'm trying to think of the way this works now. Yeah, if we burn here, we'd actually come around and then burn outwards and actually end up outside of the orbit. So we want to burn to make sure we're going to enter inside the orbit. And it doesn't actually take that much fuel to get back to Kerbal, but yeah, we'll you know, you'll see. So anyway, okay, we need to get ready to go. Engines on, so we need to make sure. So as soon as I throttle up, this is going to go. It's not like on Kerbal, where we have to press enter for it to activate. It's ready to go. We can shut down the engine, but you know, we might as well just activate it because we are going to use it. So I'm going to thrust up and then immediately point towards 45 degrees. So actually I'm going to press T to engage the SAS, and here we go. And we're off. So we're hitting 45 degrees now, and I'm going to press G, to retract the landing legs. If we look here, I'm going to keep watching until our apoapsis reaches about 15,000 kilometers. Sorry, 15 kilometers, not 15,000. Jesus Christ! All right, nearly there. 15,000 meters. There we are. So now we're going to wait. Actually, can we go a bit higher than that? Yeah, we'll go a bit higher than that. Actually, we've got the fuel. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Do 25. There we are. Right. So now we're just going to speed up time. So we can see we're really making it away from... That's where our landing site was. So as you can see, with very little fuel, this tiny little engine, we've already made it this far. So it's a lot easier to get off the moon than it is to get off Kerbin. Right, so now that we're here, I'm going to burn prograde. Remember, trying to keep the apoapsis marker as close to us as possible by burning either side of the horizon. As you can see, actually, we're actually on an inclined orbit, so because Kerbin's so close, this doesn't really make a difference. But if we were going to another planet, we'd have to change that, because literally, like 0.01 degrees can make a huge can mean you like thousands of miles out when you're turning in for an orbit. As you can see, we're burning now. We're circularizing the orbit, and we're there. 24, 29. That's fine. So you can see we're now in an orbit around the moon, and you know, we're already in an orbit, and look how much fuel we've used. Virtually nothing. So again, reinstating the point that you literally need very little fuel to get home, but you want to make sure you've got enough for just to give you a little bit of leeway, because you don't want to be running on fumes, because otherwise you're going to end up having Kerbins accidentally orbiting places they shouldn't. So now that we're actually hit, this is really inclined actually. I might have to alter this. I'm going to use a maneuver node actually to alter this, because we're going to set... Oh, I can't set this. Problem is with being on a moon is you can't set the moon as a target, which is a real... Sorry, Kerbin as a target. So actual fact, if I change that here... If I'm going to add a maneuver node halfway in between the apoapsis and the periapsis, because this is it's the most effective way to change the angles. Right. So that would then be... No, that wouldn't help much. How much is that? 68. That's not too bad. Let's see if we can actually get back to Kerbin just by using this. So we're gonna burn here. And we're going to burn... So, basically, yes, we're going to... Like I said before, we need to burn, basically, facing away from Kerbin in order for this to be effective. So we're going to select here, and then we're going to pull out the prograde marker on the maneuver node. And as you can see, our projected orbit then comes inside here, which is what we want. So we're going to keep doing this, we want to basically get it, so then this projected... Kerbin periapsis comes to about 35,000, 43,119, 30. There you are, perfect. So yes, even though we're going to come in at a really weird angle, we'll still make it to Kerbin in one piece. So, looking at the estimated burn time, we have 33 seconds of estimated burn, and that's going to be in 28 minutes and 37 seconds. So we've lined ourselves up. And we're just going to speed up time just to get there, making sure we don't run out of electricity again like we did last time. Right, now that we're getting close, I'm just going to slow down the time warp. Right, okay. Going to wait till it burns till about 30, goes to 30 seconds, and now we're going to start burning. Now, one thing that this doesn't account for, this accounts for your engine thrust and your weight, but as you're burning up fuel, it's logic that as you're burning up fuel, your craft becomes lighter. So in actual fact, even though it may say it takes you 33 seconds, it might only take you 30 seconds because your craft gets lighter, if that makes sense. So it becomes easier to thrust. So as you can see, our delta V meter's coming down. We only need 90 now, so we're going to go into M. Our map. Press X when we're ready. There we are. 28,000. So now, as you can see, we are now going to accelerate our orbit out, and then that will put us in an orbit which basically puts us inside Kerbin's atmosphere, deep into Kerbin's atmosphere. So hopefully, I'm hoping that we land on this landmass, so that'll be really cool if we do. That'll make things a lot smoother. So there you go. That's as easy, and look how much fuel we have. That is that is probably one of the best sort of getting home experiences I think I've ever had. So there we are. So now, basically, we don't even need this bottom stage. It's pointless now, because, you know, we're on our way home. So actually, I'm going to get rid of it. So I've pressed space. Actually, tell you what, before I make any stupid mistakes, I'm going to press F5, just a quick save, just in case anything goes wrong. It can't really, but just in case. So we'll press the spacebar to get rid of the lower stage. There we are. Now all we are is a capsule. And that's all we need, basically. So now we're just going to speed up time to get us away from the moon. Bye-bye, moon. So if we look at our moon, well, our capsule now, we are coming out and leaving the moon's sphere of influence. Come on, hurry up. Nearly there. Okay, and we're out. So now, as you can see, I'll tell you what, if I get rid of this maneuver node, so we don't need it anymore, we will come. Which way am I going? Can't tell. Oh. I really can't tell. Which way am I going? Ah yes, and now coming down here, and we'll actually end up going quite slowly up to this point. But as soon as we hit here, we're going to speed up and pretty much crash onto Kerbin's surface. So let's watch this happen. See, we get to the top of the orbit now. We're speeding up. Pretty cool if we landed on the North Pole. That'll be really cool. Right. Oh yes, we are going to land on land. We are going to land on land, because that makes perfect sense. So actually going to get rid of the SAS now. Oh, hang on. Can I do that when there's no time warp? Just because we want this to actually start behaving like an actual, with actual physics rather than, because SAS kind of takes away all the physics away from things. So as you can see, as we get, there we are, 70 kilometers is the cutoff point. So we are now technically in Kerbin's atmosphere. We won't feel it though until we get to about 40,000 meters, because this little atmosphere reader here tells you how thickly, what the atmosphere is like. So as you can see, it's actually increasing, and it's actually having now an effect on our craft. And actually, as we hit 36,000 meters, we should see, there we are, some re-entry effects, and the heat shield getting very hot. I think that burns at something ridiculous, like close to 1,000 degrees. Well, I'm guessing here, so I'm probably completely wrong. You see, we're really slowing down now. Kerbal Space Program's actually yet to add sort of re-entry physics. So, like, if you come in at too steep an angle, your craft will burn up or anything like that. They haven't really added that. They've added the visual effects, but they haven't actually added the physics. So we're yet to wait for an update for that. But yeah, that orbit, that re-entry we just did probably would have been fine, because it wasn't that steep of an angle, but it wasn't ideal still. We've actually got a really nice sort of landing area. Usually you end up on the side of a hill or in the sea, so this is actually worked out really well. And now that we're slowing down our horizontal velocity, we are starting to fall further downwards. As you can see, our retrograde marker is starting to point towards the centre. Now we're going to want to be looking to open this parachute at about, I tend to go for about 4,000 meters. Especially if there's just a command pod. If there's more, you might have to wait. You might have to do it earlier just to slow yourselves down. 6,000. Fine. I'll tell you what, I'll do it at 5,000. So one problem that you do have with parachutes is that if you're going too fast when this opens, this seal between the command pod and the parachute may actually break, because they're going so fast, so that's the thing you least want. So this parachute is slowing us down. Won't slow us down that much, but it'll slow us down enough so then when it opens fully, it's not too bad. Oh, that's a brilliant thumbnail. I'm getting that. Hang on. I'll wait until the parachute opens. And it'll open at 500. Oh no. Yes, sorry. It'll open at 500 meters above the ground, which is actually what we are on. If you look at the radar altitude, she's going to take a quick screenshot. Oh no, there we are. Oh no, I'll tell you what, this is fine. So unfortunately this bit takes forever, and one thing actually I forgot to mention you've got to make sure that you don't do when this parachute opens is that you're on time warp, because if you're on time warp, usually the parachute will just fly off. It's like I said in previous tutorials, Kerbal Space Program is not a perfect game, and it is liable to bugs. So especially when you're landing as well, you don't want to be on time warp. So I'm going to speed up, just so then we get down there quicker. But I'm going to make sure we're not actually hitting the ground. There we are, and we have safely touched down on Kerbin's surface. So if we go on EVA, we can actually get out of the space shuttle. Well, the command pod. Actually, I like that thumbnail. That's good. Brill. Okay, so this 3-part tutorial has shown you how to build a rocket as well as a landing stage. It has also showed you how to get into orbit again, which you guys should be pros at by now. It's shown you how to intercept with the moon, slow yourself down to get onto the moon, land on the moon, and has then shown you how to re-enter into an orbit around the moon, and then have set a collision course with Kerbin's atmosphere and land safely, which is quite a lot. You know, in this, it's only I think, what is it, about 25 minutes in each episode, so it's about a little over an hour of total recording time. So you know, that's a lot to take in just an hour. So you know, please feel free to repeat this tutorial just quite a few times before you get the hang of it. But to be honest, once you've done it once, you're away. You really are. You know, landing on other moons such as Minimus is very, very similar. And actual Minimus is actually kind of easier. So again, oh, this is how you repack a parachute. You have to come out in EVA and you can repack them. So yeah. Anyway, so yes, that's it. That's been it, guys. Thanks for watching. My next tutorial is going to be on how to build a plane in Kerbal Space Program. Please stay tuned for that one, and if you like the video, please rate and please like and subscribe. Cheers.